So we've done it, already in playoffs, but now we've dispatched Derby. And I, for one, am very relieved about that. I'm thinking about this all week. I can't ever really remember enjoying a game against them, even when we've won. Yesterday was no different, really. I didn't really find myself enjoying it. I think the only time I can remember enjoying a game against them was probably a cup game in about '93, something like that. Of course, they were that one when they scored two in injury time that time for draw, and obviously sent us down to the year. Don't really enjoy games against Derby, so really pleased to get a result against them. I was hoping, as you know, in week that Darren Moore would wrap him in cotton wool. I didn't want to risk any injuries or anything like that. He did make a few changes, not probably as many as I would have made. But then there's a reason why he's a professional football manager and I'm a bloke sat in a shed. So, quick look at the Wednesday side. So, changes then. Dawson in goal, changes to the back three. Iofa, Flint and Brown in there. Obviously, Jaden Brown coming in for Ehekwe. Aidan Flint also coming in. Midfield from right to left. Liam Palmer, Will Volks, Barry Bannon, Marvin Johnson and Delabishiru coming in for Dennis Adeniran. Up front, obviously Lee Gregory with his facial injury. So it was Callum Patterson with Michael Smith. Wasn't a great first half, but Wednesday did have one or two little opportunities in first sort of 10 minutes or so. Callum Patterson played a wonderful ball, diagonal ball on the floor, tried to pick out Delabishiru. Fantastic, but just not quite enough legs on it, and it just got cut out there. And Wednesday, it was vital that Wednesday scored early today. Terrific record we've got. When we score first, we don't generally lose games, so vital we got that first goal. Decent start there. And Wednesday's home record, obviously more goals at home than any other 92 league clubs, which is a tremendous record this season. Another record, most points in a season in '96 is the highest number of points a team's ever got without being promoted automatically. But unequally, we've been relegated, haven't we, with 43 points, which was the highest number of points any team's ever been relegated with. I mean, you try not to think that there's curses and all like that, but, you know. I mean, Shansiri, he had his monkey, didn't he, to bless ground and whatever, and I think he needs to get him back for a bit of snagging. Game. 9 minutes, whip ball into box, absolute crowd scene in there. There's about 12 players in there. It's Dawson comes right out, and I always worry when keepers come out when it's such a big crowd scene like that. Gets up, absolutely fantastic take, comes in, clatters all bodies all over his show, brilliant, and that just gives you that little bit of confidence then when your keeper does that. And in many ways, I think Dawson probably man at match. Because he makes a fantastic save against about 15 minutes. Ball just at the edge of the box. McGoldrick hits it and he gets right across it right outside the boot, and the swerve on it, it's going away and it's edging towards top corner. Dawson gets it, full stretch, gets it off at bar, absolutely fantastic save, stops us going behind. And that's McGoldrick, I think that's 17 games against Wednesday and he's never managed to find net yet. It's not a great game. It's not a spectacle on eye, but there are some moments. 20 minutes, Marvin Johnson. It's an absolutely brilliant diagonal ball. Completely takes their defence apart. Delabishiru's in. He's got that yard of pace. Comes over, takes it and just first touches heavy, and he just sort of knocks it inside, which is where their centre halves coming across to meet him. So that was a shame because he would away. He would away there. That'd have been a fantastic opportunity to take the lead. But yeah, it's a scrappy game. Obviously, there's nerves on both sides, I think, there. Even though it's a sort of dead rubber to us, you can see there's a desperation when they don't want to go behind to these, especially when being bogey. Because psychologically, that could give Derby an advantage if we do go into playoffs against them, which we more than likely would if they scored. So, quite tense, quite edgy. Now, in the week, my main concern, I kept saying it, rat players in cotton wool, don't risk it against these. And there were a few moments yesterday when I was like, oh Jesus, worst thoughts, worst fears allayed, because Palmer went down on the near side. That Sibley went through backing him just as he was about to clip a ball down the line. So that, oh Jesus, here we go. And then it was about 20 minutes, the far side, north stand, 50-50. It sort of spiralled into there, spun into there, and it's Bannon and Knight, and they both go in. But that Knight goes in, 2 feet studs up, and he's very lucky, actually. He's very lucky that he don't connect. And he's very lucky he don't get a card anyway, even though he don't connect, because the way he went in, no control of his body. But I just saw Bannon going in, and I was just like, oh no, because as a Wednesday fan, it's been built in you, especially with our injury record. I mean, we have no look at all the injuries, so saw that and I thought, oh God, here we go. So it was a very nervous watch in that sense. Actually, that Sibley that went through, whacked through back of Palmer's ankles, he did a double foul 2 minutes after that on Derbyshire. First he can't catch him, so he clatters back at ankles. And when that don't work, he then pulls shirt. And Derbyshire, who'll be fair to him, carries on going. He's got that strength and power, powers away. But when it all gets brought back, ref don't book him. It's like, well, he's just done Palmer. Then he's just got Derbyshire ankles, and then he's just pulled shirt, and we're still not going to take any action. Ref sometimes misses them things, but equally, Brown did one almost exactly the same in second half. Got a fistful of McGoldrick's shirt, play on, but when it comes back, ref books him after the event. So it's just that consistency, innit? Mind you, I'm not going to slag the referee off because, well, it's a game really, isn't it? Penalty. Well, it's a terrible back pass for a start from him. Patterson gets in, obviously Wildsmith comes out, and ball bobbles out to Johnson, who turns inside, sort of running across 18-yard line, and does he touch it? Well, he does touch him. He touches him, doesn't he, in back, but I mean, he's bought it, hasn't he? It weren't any more than one of them things someone taps you on the shoulder at a party and you go, oh, alright mate, not seen him for a bit. You know what I mean? He was that sort of tap on the shoulder. He's gone down like Shergar, but harsh, very harsh, I've got to be honest. And that red card as well. Has he stuck to clear goal scoring opportunity? I don't know. Well, Wildsmith had narrowed angle, and if that cashing were back, I think the argument would be, was cashing back far enough when the hand touched Johnson's back? That'd be an argument, but harsh penalty for me. I'll accept it, and sending off probably even harsher. And I almost feel sorry for him because he's been quite a servant for them, hasn't he? And I always feel harsh when it's a club man who ends up getting hammered. But anyway, nevertheless, it's a penalty. Soft as shite one for me, but you take anything you can get at this stage of the season. Smith steps up. 2 minutes and 40 seconds delay before he can take a penalty. Wildsmith's fanning about with mental games, and is it Taylor, something else like that? He ends up getting a booking because he's chirping and stepping in. So Smith does well to hold his nerve, and it's a sweet strike, sends Wildsmith the wrong way, and that's his 20th goal at season, which it's a really good return, isn't it? Somehow in my head, he don't seem to have scored that many, but he has. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Wednesday 1, Derby 0, and all pressure's on them then, really. Jaden Brown's playing at centre back. And I don't know if it's because of that. And obviously he's playing out of position. He's a left back, he's a left wing back. But I don't think he's going forward as much as he probably can. He's not taking it out maybe way that James does down that left hand side, or even for Mayo. But if you're playing out of position, what you don't want to do is you're coming in to do a job, you're helping the team out, and what you don't want to do is get caught out of position and look like a knob. So he played it safe, and I think he stayed back there for the most part. But fair play to him, and he actually made probably in a 3 minute window two really large contributions because he got a fantastic blocking to a McGondrick shot. There were just maybe a foot inside box, and then 2 minutes later, on the side, Mendes Lang had cut inside, had gone on a bit of a run. He was playing sort of off the striker, up slightly to the left, Mendes Lang. Really good run that he'd gone on. And Brown just come over and won it clean as a whistle. Absolutely fantastic slide tackle. And then made an half decent clearance away with his right foot as well. So for a left back playing out of position, I think he did okay. And like I said, two really vital moments there in first half. Palmer, he nearly scored, bursting run. My played it season, Liam Palmer. I think everybody's played it season. Possibly would have been Will Volks if season had gone on another month, because I think since Christmas he's been outstanding. But great run from Palmer, drilled shot. It's inside a Wildsmith's thigh and sort of collides off at post, and it's a shame that didn't go in. I would like to have seen Palmer scored. He's my player of the year, so I'll be sending him an award. I've got a packet of hobnobs in cupboard. I think after all running he's done this season, he deserves a nice sit down and a brew. And then Dawson had to make another really good save. They'd had a counter attack. This is that thing about switching off in it, because it's nearly half time. Switch off a little bit. Ball comes out to McGoldrick, edge of box, and it's a lovely little sort of stub shot. You know what I mean? He just stubs into the ground, wefts ball over the top, and Dawson, and it's the right idea, I think, because Dawson's off his line, he's made penalty spot, but he managed to take that step back and get it over bar. Another really good save there, and it was a good effort from McGoldrick. I think that was the right option. I'm sorry I keep looking over there. There's a great big crow stood on that post. It's all a bit Game of Thrones. See one. We get a corner, short routine that we do, and Volks, it's a fantastic shot. It deserves a goal because the technique's fantastic. Comes inside, I think it's Bannon. Side foots it. Lovely curl on it. Comes at it, it's top at bar. And actually, rebound falls back down to him, and he catches it, sweet as a nut laces. And that Forsyth gets him sent it away. Shows his experience, I suppose, but right place at right time to foot block. Two great strikes from Volks, 5 seconds apart, and two different techniques, really good. The lovely side footer, the curler, and then the lovely laces drive. Two terrific. Probably both strikes probably deserve a goal, to be honest with you, and he's come away with out there. But Wednesday was starting to really come into ascendancy. I thought we got away with an offside. There was a rangy ball, and McGoldrick was just in front of South, going towards Cop. I didn't think he was off. I'd have to see it again, but I didn't think he was off. And flag went up, and I just thought, we've got away with one there, because it was very, very close, and he would have been away. I don't think he was getting caught in that position. They were committing more and more men towards it, and they had a great opportunity. McGoldrick and Mendes Lang, nice little 1-2 in centre circle. Mendes Lang drives on. We know he's got that pace from when he was with us, but equally, like when he was with us, that final ball, he knocks it out. I think the kid's called Bird, who made a brilliant run on the outside. And Mendes Lang, he just got a little bit too much on pass. If he'd shortened it, just put it in front of him, I think that Bird could have just took it on stride or one touch and it. And as it is, it just goes slightly across front of him, and he has to do that little extra side step. Does really well, actually, because he did all that he could do, which is he guided it back across to the back stick past Dawson. And luckily for us, Flint were there to hack it away off that line. Liam Palmer again, he nearly makes it 2-0. Absolute marauding run down that inside right channel, something that we've been seeing a lot this season. It's great to see. And it's such a weapon for us. It's something that we really miss when he plays in centre half position, because you know he can get forward, but not as much as when he's out. When he's out there on that right, he can really get in. Marauding run, shows a really good burst of pace actually, and then absolutely smashes a shot against outside of post. He could have had a double today. He could have had a double, and I would have loved to have seen him sign off with a couple. Obviously, you know, news starts filtering in through what's happening at Barnsley. And I'm surprised at that result, actually. And I do wonder if Barnsley's hitting a bit of a blip just at right time for Wednesday and Bolton or whoever else might have to face them, because that's a very strong side that Barnsley put out against Peterborough. I don't know if any of you have had a look at that, but that is a strong Barnsley side that's lost there. So that news is filtering through. Warne starts making some changes then. Makes one about 70 minutes. Wednesday swapping about as well. They get Windass on, just stretch his legs really more than anything else. He has a couple of little runs where he's not 100 mile an hour. You know, he's at about maybe 80-90%, but testing himself out really. But there were actually a couple of balls where I would have been wincing, but he sort of pulled out of them at the last second. I thought there was a bit of common sense there. Don't be chucking your son in at this stage. Save your son. We've got a goal lead. More just about that twisting and turning and seeing how he gets through that really, I think. But yeah, Warne starts making changes. They brought a young lad on, Dobbin. And far from being Dobbin the donkey, I thought he was a really lively player. I'm not sure why he didn't start. I thought he got something about him. Skipped past Palmer at one bit. Palmer had to take a booking for that. And on another occasion he got past Iorfa and ended up being brought down. And there was just a bit right at the end where Deli Bashir went over, giving him shoulder, but then he ended up tripping him as well. He was a lively player. And there was a spell right at the end when he had a shot. McGoldrick had a real fizzer from about 30 yards. Dawson made a good save, palmed it well wide, which is what you want him to do. And again, that Dobbin picked it up, drifted in, and shot on near post. Another good save from Dawson, but I thought he was a really lively player, him. And then, of course, his chucking caution took wind a bit then, Warne. Chuck's other kid on, is it Marco Butson or something? He gets chucked on, and of course he chucks that Collins on, who's quite a unit. And I was a bit worried about them, with them slinging things into the box. There's a cross into the back pole. It comes back across actually, and it is that Collins is just swinging his leg at it, get full connection, and Iorfa gets out, makes a fantastic block, just chucks his body in front of it, and that's what you've got to do sometimes. It's sort of, you've got to be a bomb blast hero, haven't you? And 2 playoff games coming up, we're going to need more at the same. And it's that sort of defending, which is why Wednesday's clean sheets record's up there this season, because yes, you want to be organised and everybody knows what the job is and this and that, and who's marking who on set pieces and all that game. But sometimes it's more than that. You can have all that, and they're your building blocks of how you're going to keep your clean sheets and everything. But a lot of it's also that. Also, sometimes keeping clean sheets is about having big bollocks, because sometimes a shot like that's coming in, and we've all seen it over the years. You could all name 20 players who you know that if a shot's coming in, they're getting it that one. You know what I mean? We've all hundreds of players like that over the years at every club. But when that shot's coming in and they're chucking themselves in front of it, that's that. Brains and bollocks getting in there. And that's just design, isn't it, to keep that clean sheet. And that's more than anything, it's a mental thing. Defenders going to want to keep a clean sheet with the same hunger that a striker wants to score a goal. You know what I mean? I think in the modern game, I think a lot of centre halves think the footballers these days, don't they? I'm not sure they have that love of clean sheets that maybe old-fashioned centre halves have. But fantastic block from Iorfa there, because Collins had caught that, sweet as a nut. Wednesday really having to weather Storm, and I mean they're chucking kitchen sink. He's chucked another couple of players on more. I think they finished. They've got like 3 strikers and 3 wingers on pitch or something. I don't know. But they're really going for it. That Collins gets up, wins an header, heads it back across, but unbelievably, despite all attacking players they've got on, when he heads it back across, good header. Nobody at other stick for second ball. They'd all sort of clustered around penalty spot, and But they're chucking kitchen sink at it, and they're trying everything. And old Forsyth, he really tries it, and there's cross coming into the box. Backinson's stood in front of him. He obviously can't get there, Forsyth. He's too far out. There's too many bodies away. He don't know what to do. So he grabs Backinson's shirt and pulls him on top of him, and then starts waving arms about like he's being wrestled. It's desperation stuff. You can see why he did it, but it was real pantomime. Poor bastard. Honestly, because I almost feel sorry for him. He's been there some years, hasn't he? And then he trips back in snow punt, ball breaks as well, and then claims that's a foul. Poor old sod. And then they get a free kick right at end. Their lad White steps up to take it. Wildsmith's come up easy in box. You've got two options there. It's quite far out, but he's not got too bad an angle. You've either got a guff it shot. It's like 93 minutes away. You've either got a guff it shot, or you've just got to flip one in and hope somebody can get out end of it. And he sort of halfway houses it. He tries to put it in for somebody to head. Completely overleaps it, goes straight out, and they're the killers. They're the worst. Have the shot or a little flipper, and saw his face as soon as he's done it, and they knew that were it. But yeah, they took kitchen sink at it, and it weren't quite enough for them. So now Peterborough over two legs in playoffs. Man at match. It's odd because Dawson's made 3 saves that have kept us in game. First one from that one that were curving away was magnificent save. There were a couple more drives that he saved. The close range one at end with that, I think it was Dobbin. The lob, I thought that was a terrific save because he was well off his line, and it was a really good, clever shot by McGoldrick. That was a terrific save. But we dominated the ball. I would say my man at match was probably Will Volks. I think since Christmas time he's been absolutely magnificent. Because it was a stretchy game. Is there such thing as a stretchy game? Well, I'm inventing it. It was a stretchy game. The number of times people under it a pass or a long pass don't quite make it and it's bobbling around in there. The number of times that Will Volks' first day, it bobbles. Who's that, Volks? In. And he's just got that thing about him that he spots danger. And he's always in there. I think he's had a fantastic game, Will Volks. And as I said, I think he's been superb since Christmas. And if season went on another month, I think he'd be up there with, going with Palmer for player of the year. Will Volks man at match. So Peterborough now, and it's going to be interesting how we go about that actually. Obviously we've got a system, we've got a way of playing, but that's not going to change. But I do wonder if psychologically things come into it. Our record down at their place is not good at London Road. Equally, their record at ours is crap as well. So winning, two teams trying to win their home leg. I think we should try and nick an away goal. The reason for that is, despite the fact we've got a terrible record down there, this season, I thought we were on top. Until Reece James sending off, I thought we were on top. And in actual fact, even I thought for 20-25 minutes after sending off in the second half, we had opportunities there to take lead with 10 men. I thought we took games. We ran out of steam in end because when you're down to 10 men, you're chasing shadows, aren't you? But if we'd managed to get a goal first, I think we could have clung on there. But like I said, ran out of steam in end. And Darren Moore, to be fair, some people still talking about negative. He kept 2 up front with 10 men for a large spell of that game, trying to go for a win. And for me, I'd applaud that. Of course, we'll have to keep an eye on him now. He's next threat, that Johnson Clark Harris. I don't know what he's got for the season. Is it 25, 26? A lot of goals. And the thing down there at their place, it was 3 goals with headers. That's what I remembered about that game. We'd run out of steam. Just crosses coming in. It was that early stage of the season when we were just conceding crosses from our left-hand side to 3 headers. don't think that's going to happen. Now we've got Flint in there. Heckwy's back, obviously been rested. He's been out a long time, so rested yesterday. We've got time to build up to that now, though. But I think we've got Aiden. I think if we play as we can, keep it tight at back, keep them quiet, I think we can nick something. And if we could nick an away goal, absolutely fantastic. Because back at Hillsborough, the record's phenomenal for us. They've got a crap record at Hillsborough anyway, going beyond this season we've just had. But this year, our home record's fantastic. I think we scored most goals at home out of any team in 92. Clean sheets record, 96 points on board. What a season it's been. And I hope we go up. I really hope we go up. I know everybody does. And I know these records, people will say, you know, it all counts for naught if you don't go up. And yeah, it does. It does count for naught. In the sense of the season as a whole. But you know, if you do go up in playoffs, will you then look back fondly on them records? There's a certain, I don't know, last few weeks I've just been encountering this mentality that most goals we've scored ever, don't matter. Most points we've ever had, don't matter. And I've got to think, if we get promoted, I think the narrative will then get changed to not good enough for Championship though. So we're not there yet. I don't know. I try not to concern myself with negative side of it, but I don't know why people are so negative. And you shouldn't be negative, because that can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, can't it? So let's be positive. Let's go to Peterborough. Let's nick a 1-0 at Peterborough. Get back to ours. Get a couple of goals here. And however it chips Mail ain't final, whether it's Bolton, I would probably rather play, or whether it's Barnsley, who last couple of weeks, you know, they were at Cheltenham game and they've lost to Peterborough themselves this week with a strong lineup. Maybe they're in a bit of a blip at right time for us as well. So let's just be positive. Let's enjoy it. Let's get Hillsborough packed out for our own leg, and let's just get behind, boys. Get behind manager. We've done all these records, and wouldn't it be great if we could add to that record that we've won playoffs as well? Eh? Let's stick with it.